Happy Halloween! Here's something creepy for you. Imagine every time you liked a post or commented on someone's Instagram, your significant other would get a notification about it.
Instagram took action against the stalker app. Stick around to find out more.
All right, welcome to the Daily Charge. Today is Thursday, October 31st. I'm Alfred Ng.
I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
And here are today's top stories. Instagram on Wednesday said it was taking action against an app called Like Patrol, which is as dystopian as it sounds. The app charged people up to $80 a year so they could get notifications anytime someone they follow on Instagram liked or commented on other people's posts. The founder of it told me that it would help keep couples in happy relationships because they wouldn't be ogling other people on Instagram anymore. As you know, all loving relationships are built on constant surveillance and fear.
Yes, of course they are.
I mean, I've heard that is the secret to all marriages. So the thing is, this was a feature on Instagram since 2011. They had this thing called the following tab where you could go on and see, oh, hey, my friend from high school is liking a bunch of bikini photos, that kind of stuff. But it was you never got a notification about it or anything like that. And that is what this app is promising, as if, that was a great feature. Somebody saw that and thought, let's bring that back and let's make it even, creepier.
So do you know whether Instagram outwardly said we're getting rid of this feature because people say it's creepy?
They didn't say we're getting rid of it because people think it's creepy, but they were saying that there are better uses for people on our social media and we want people to be engaged in healthy activities on our social network. So they didn't straight up say, yeah, this is a stalking tool, but it's mostly acknowledged as something like that.
So another interesting thing to mention is that Twitter lets you see other people's likes too.
Yeah.
So there are still elements of this on social. I agree with you. This seems like a really creepy app, and good for you.
I mean,
for helping get rid of it.
I mean, they have bots on Twitter that'll do that. Like the Trump alerts, Twitter account will tell you anytime somebody from the Trump administration unfollows somebody, follows somebody, likes a tweet, retweets somebody, that kind of thing. And that, a lot of people would say that has its purposes. I would never imagine, though, that somebody would see that and think, let's do that for people to stalk their significant others and get notifications every time.
So it's a good time to remind people that the rules of the road when it comes to anything related to social is it's probably being monitored, and, you should definitely be careful and not just post willy-nilly.
Yeah, speaking of making posts willy-nilly, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey made an announcement last night and said that the social network would not be accepting political ads anymore, starting in November. Dorsey said that political influences should be earned, not bought. He mentions that this was not a big chunk of their finances to begin with, and it was more about making sure that political disinformation can't be bought on a social network like Twitter.
Right. So one important element here, which I'm pretty sure most people don't actually realize, is that broadcasters are not allowed to do this. Any political campaign for a politician that's currently running for office, they're required to host their ads. They're required to actually air their ads on television. So even though I know that this has been a really big knock on Facebook, that's an important element to at least reference here.
Yeah, and I obviously, this is kind of a direct reaction to what Facebook has been doing. Very different from Facebook's decision. As Mark Zuckerberg said on Facebook's earnings call on Wednesday, that it would continue to allow lies in political ads. If you're not familiar with it, Facebook has basically held down on the controversial opinion that political ads, people should be able to lie in them, and Zuckerberg has said on multiple occasions that it should not be Facebook's role to determine what the truth is, and that he wants to let voters and people decide it for themselves. That's not their job to fact check it.
So I think Jack Dorsey made the most compelling argument in his Twitter thread about this, specifically saying that, for instance, it's not credible for us to say we're working hard to stop people from gaming our system, to spread misleading information. He specifically talks about things like anti-vaccination campaigns and things like that. But if someone pays us to target and force people to see our political ads, well, they can say whatever they want.
Yeah, Zuckerberg has basically said on multiple occasions that this is about free expression on social media, saying that, non-incumbents who are running or people running on issues, like they should be able to, political ads benefit them the most, and if they completely just banned them, it would hurt democracy in the end. I don't think everyone's buying it. Zuckerberg did say that the controversy over their decision was not worth the money that they were getting for political ads. When we see Facebook's ad revenue, it still seems to be booming. From their earnings call, it mentioned that Facebook beat revenue expectations by earning $17.65 billion this year, and that's just the third quarter, and it doesn't really show any signs of slowing down.
Yeah, what's really surprising about that is that this is a company that is in a lot of trouble in a lot of different ways, and they don't seem to be taking a hit in any way financially.
The interesting thing is that they do take down ads that are lies if they're not political. Like if I put an ad for something saying that, like, you know, the Daily Charge is the best show online, like they would take that down. Dude. They're like, that's a lie. Like, we know that's not true. Facebook would take that down. But if I was a registered politician and I was running for office, I could take an ad and say the Daily Charge is a really well put together show with great people, and they would just leave it up.
Right. Going back to the broadcaster point, I'd love to, hear from folks and hear from the audience too, just talking about the idea that does this make sense? Do you agree with Zuckerberg's position? Do you agree with, Jack Dorsey's position? Ultimately, Dorsey is saying we're not going to take money for this kind of stuff, but at the same time, you would probably agree that they still have a long way to go as far as dealing with misinformation, disinformation campaigns, things like that. They're just saying we're not going to take money related to this stuff anymore. So there's still more work, I would say, for Twitter to do as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's a good transition into our Q&A section. We're going to be taking, questions from our audience on YouTube, Twitter, and Periscope. See if anyone out there has any questions about today's stories, or maybe you yourself have a cool story if you've ever been stalked on social media.
That sounds cool.
Who do you think is making the smart decision on political ads here, Facebook or Twitter? Sound off now, and we will see how much we can cover. BVG.
So I actually have a question for you, Alfred. Before we got the show started here, you actually had to correct me because I did refer to this Instagram app. What's it called again? Like
Patrol.
Like Patrol. God, that just sounds so dystopian. You had to correct me because I called it stalkerware, but it's not stalkerware. Could you further describe or just help differentiate why it's not stalkerware?
Yeah, so stalkerware is a specific type of malware most of the times. It disguises itself as oh, this app is for parents who want to keep track of where their kids are, or if they're talking to pedophiles online. But the thing is, they'll put it on their girlfriend or boyfriend's phones, and they don't know about it. And then it'll send location data. It'll send everyone messages that they've texted. It'll send their emails.
Is that legal?
No.
Okay, good. I didn't think it was.
Yeah, it'll send a lot of that, and then it's used by a lot of abusive partners. So the reason why Like Patrol is not like that is because your location data, all that stuff that stalkerware siphons off is private information. Whereas when you're liking somebody on Instagram, that's public. People can see that. The only thing that makes Like Patrol incredibly creepy is that it basically makes it incredibly easy. If I wanted to know every post that you've liked, I'd have to go to posts that you might have interacted with and check to see every single one of them. Whereas this, it kind of just automatically scrapes it and then just
then sends you
notifications about it. So that is the big difference here. So Like Patrol is incredibly creepy, but it's not stalkerware just because it's not as severe as what stalkerware is, which has ruined a lot of lives.
Yeah, again, Twitter makes this really easy, and I wonder if they will ever get rid of this element too. Mm-hmm. I'm going on your page right now.
You can see my likes, yeah.
Yeah, I can see all your likes. Does it matter? Is it really that important? I don't know, but at the same time, obviously Instagram walked away from this feature, and I wonder if Twitter might do the same thing at some point.
This comment from Ryan's got me chuckling a little bit. He says, is it so wrong, though, to like those pictures while on social media? I know this is probably a deeper conversation than they intended today. Yeah, I mean,
you should be able to like whatever the hell you want. I completely agree with that. I mean, I also understand that, if you're liking all of these bikini photos and stuff like that, and you're in a relationship, that might be a weird conversation to have, but Also, you should be able to like whatever the hell you want.
You're also not required to like anything. Just because you're looking at bikini photos, you should not be compelled to, click the heart on them.
Yes.
Look at whatever the heck you want. And again, stuff can be monitored and tracked online. So, maybe be a little bit more careful with literally anything you do online. It's all trackable, or a lot of it is anyway.
It's just interesting to me that somebody thought like, hey, people are really insecure and like jealous of their partners.
Let's make money off of
Let's make
this.
money off of it. And that it really
That's
goes
the
to show
American
you
way,
the
Alfred.
hellscape that we all live in with technology.
So
Thank you.
I forgot to ask you this earlier. How many total people were actually using this service?
Like under 300 people, but that's because they were doing like a soft launch. They weren't like public until like the last 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, that makes me feel at least a little bit better about humanity, that it wasn't like completely.
I think if it were free, more people would use it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, devil's advocate. It's the internet. You can find anything. Why are you messing around on a public forum looking for bikini photos on Facebook where you know that you can get busted?
People are horny, man. Like, people are horny online. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know. Like, it might be more attainable for them on a social network. Like, they can actually comment and like talk back and forth with this person.
Or they're already on that social network anyway. So it's more easily accessible, at least in their own mind.
I would just never underestimate the stupidity of horny people online.
That is so true.
Can we get that printed on a T-shirt or something, please?
I mean, like, it's really genius. It's pretty accurate.
That's pretty damn good, Alfred. Sorry. Okay, here's a really good one from Michael Brown. In regards to the political ad statements and stances that we've seen taken in the past 24 hours, I can see both sides of the argument. I like that they got rid of political ads, but I feel that the feature was good for a smaller politician. This only gives more power and edge to the richer politicians. Do you think that's really going to be the outcome here?
That is actually the exact argument that Mark Zuckerberg has been making for keeping political ads on Facebook. I don't think people have a problem with political ads in general. I think the big problem with Facebook was that they don't mind if people lie in them in political ads. That's an issue.
And the other issue here is that they actually have the power to do something about it. Going back again to TV stations are legally mandated to run those ads, whether they're true or false or what have you. So if somebody really, really dislikes something, or they feel like it's a dog whistle one way or another, the TV station will be able to say, we have to run this. There's no option here. This is a legal mandate.
Wait, can't they just not take ads from, like, if like, it's not like the Trump organization is going and like running ads on like MSNBC and saying like, you have to run this.
I think there are legal requirements for broadcasters to run political ads for folks that are running for office. I think there were certain cases where
no, you can reject ads. Like CNN has rejected.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was specifically for I think you're talking about the caravan ads. Those were rejected by multiple folks. I think that came from the Trump campaign, and if you recall, that was in 2018 when Trump wasn't actually on the ballot. So it's different if you're running for office. It's considered, some form of political speech or free speech. So
your point was that Facebook like doesn't have to adhere to those standards.
Exactly. I was
right?
going to get back to that. That Facebook is not under the same requirement. And as we saw that exactly with Twitter said, look, we're just not going to do this anymore. And again, Facebook is making this as a very philosophical position, because Zuckerberg specifically said yesterday that they make less than 0.5% of their revenue from political advertising. So it's not a huge moneymaker for them. They actually put a percentage directed at that specifically.
So, I mean, is this just pandering, or is there actually some strategy to this?
I mean, there's a case for saying that Twitter is just pandering here. To be fair, Twitter also doesn't make that much money off of political ads. Like, I think it's about the same percentage or maybe less.
And they very clearly timed this to dunk on Zuckerberg.
Yeah,
they did it right before Facebook announced their earnings report. So Jack Dorsey was very clearly trying to make Zuckerberg look bad in this particular situation.
And there are parts of it where like there's workarounds for it where they can still run ads like in videos, like political ads in videos, which are really how they do ads to begin with, like on social media. So I think we have to wait and see for this ban to come into effect to see like how much teeth it actually has.
Yeah. And again, you're going to see stuff from politicians on Twitter.
Yeah.
Trump is all over Twitter.
But he doesn't need to take out ads to get attention there.
Exactly.
That's the whole point with Jack Dorsey, though, where he's saying that, like, political attention shouldn't be bought. And I can see the argument for, like, somebody who's not as big as Trump trying to get out there.
That's
or something
what Michael
like
was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the difference is, if you're a politician and you're running for office, if the only way you can get attention is by taking ads out on Twitter, perhaps try a different career.
So what's interesting is that Trump's campaign did come out with a statement about Dorsey's decision, and they said that this is another move of social media companies that they perceive as largely liberal, silencing conservatives.
Yeah,
so
you know
it's
who else
interesting
came
that
out
we're
with a
talking
statement
about
like that?
Who?
Russia Today.
Really?
The state-run Russian propaganda organization also said this is just liberal fear-mongering, and Twitter is making, caving into that.
Good
So,
grief.
good side to be on.
Yeah, no kidding.
I had something I wanted to say, but your reaction kind of derailed me. What did I want to bring up? Help me here. Sally, what did I have before I lost my mind laughing at that? Shoot. Okay, so we have got ourselves a situation here. I never thought I'd say this because for the longest time I kind of trashed it, but I actually think Twitter's becoming my favorite social media platform. Mostly because I've had to completely abandon Facebook because it overtook Twitter's cesspoolery. I don't know. Where do you guys personally stand on this? Like take the news journalist cap off. What do you think about Dorsey's statement?
I think that he should go further, and I think they should ban all ads, period. Look, ads are terrible, and, that's how we make our money, but we shouldn't. We shouldn't have advertising on anything. Just have free content out there. Nobody gets paid. Seems pretty cool to me.
What is this, Star Trek? What's the matter with you?
I don't know what Star Trek is.
Oh, Jesus.
Are there a lot of ads in Star Trek? Or
No,
ads?
there are no ads. There are no ads in Star
Oh.
Trek because they don't have any money in Star Trek. It's just kind of a system where everybody does what they want and, kind of supports the greater good.
Yeah. And
Back me up on this one, BVG. Am I remembering that correctly?
Sure. Why not?
Okay.
yeah, they should just ban all ads. These are terrible. Like, think about, like, all these ads with, like, great photography and, like, good art, catchy slogans, things like that. Think of all that talent being wasted to sell, like, products to people. Like, it's such a drain on society, and advertisers are the worst.
How am I supposed to remember to eat, like, Reese's peanut butter cups all the time?
Did they pay you to say that?
No,
Is
but
this
they
SpongeBob
should.
now?
They
Disgusting. Do you see the greed that advertising brings onto people? It's just...
This was such a wholesome show before.
Yeah. This is what you get when I'm on this show. This is why I try not to be on all the time. But
I'm enjoying it. Keep the rant going.
yeah, we should just not have any advertising. It's a terrible industry.
Meanwhile, today's episode is brought to you by. Actually, I wonder. Here's a thought that just kind of popped into my head. Is this maybe sensing a little bit of the writing on the wall with Dorsey? Twitter won't be around forever. None of these social networks are going to survive the apocalypse. It's all just kind of fleeting and in the moment. Yes, a lot of them have gone on longer than we truly maybe initially expected. But if you're a politician, shouldn't you be finding a better, more robust, more authenticated, verified, qualified platform to get your message out there?
No, if you're a politician and you have an open license to lie, like, why would you not take that? And that's what TV is. I don't think they care if the platform is valid or not. I think, can I, get my message out there? And if my message just happens to not be true, even better.
Well, yeah, especially if you can do it for free. If a politician gets enough, of an audience on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, then that's a really valuable tool for them to be able to just get the message out to voters and to their broader audience and not have to really pay for anything other than staff to run those sites. So, yeah, it's definitely useful. It'll be interesting to see going into 2020 how Twitter walking away from political ads will have an impact on the broader market because there's so much money sloshing around for political advertising during a presidential election. So Twitter's finances are not nearly as good as Facebook. So it's interesting to see that they decided to do this, but maybe they've gone through other election cycles and said, yeah, this isn't that much money regardless.
Yeah, I do remember in that leaked audio from Mark Zuckerberg at one of those town hall meetings that Casey Newton at The Verge got, where Zuckerberg talks about how we spend more on our like security and like detecting disinformation efforts than Twitter makes like in their entire revenue.
They're huge.
Yeah. So I mean, I've never really appreciated that kind of knock on Twitter though, because they're always comparing it to Facebook, which is giant. But it's like as if like you saw like a millionaire and you compared him to a billionaire and said like, oh well, you're not successful. Like Twitter is still doing pretty damn well.
Yeah.
It's just, like it's not the giant that Facebook is, but like it's not a bad company.
Financially speaking, yes, they've continued to exist.
Yes.
So well done.
Like
Twitter.
we also don't make as much as Facebook. Nobody like comes to us and says, you guys
Facebook.
are failing. Yeah.
Yeah, that would not be very nice. Don't do that.
So, do we have any idea if this is going to cause a bit of a domino effect? Are we going to see other social media platforms at least come out with a statement, maybe not necessarily following in Twitter's anti-political ad stance, but will YouTube come out with a statement tomorrow and say we're definitely going to be running political ads? Are we going to see any of that?
I've actually been curious about that. I've been wanting to reach out to YouTube and see what their policies are on this, because I don't know, but like YouTube is a big player in political ads this year. I know that I think it was during either the first World Series game or some game during the NBA Finals or something like that, where like the entire front page, like the banner, was like a huge like political ad. I might have either been for the Trump campaign or the Warren campaign, but yeah, YouTube still does that. So, and it's a good chunk on there too, and I don't know what their policies are on it. So thank you for reminding me to look into that.
Yeah, it's a good point too, because obviously there are more players in this than just Facebook and Twitter, even though that's kind of how Dorsey presented his argument yesterday. So yeah, like we'll have to find out if other players are actually going to start saying one way or the other. But as it stands right now, Zuckerberg seems to be digging in and doubling down and saying like, we're not going to change this. We feel like this is something that we want to do, even though their own employees are, signing letters saying that we don't like this. We think that you should really take a different stance because you have the ability to.
So you already mentioned that you believe YouTube is going to be a big player in political ads coming up in the next campaign. Where else, if people are getting forced out of Twitter, what other platforms do you think are palatable for political ad campaigns?
I mean, other social networks you don't really need to pay for that kind of thing. Like you can just do an AMA on Reddit if you want to. Pinterest is mostly like squared off from a lot of these like political
right, and you don't really go to Snapchat for this kind of thing either.
Yeah, so I mean, Instagram is a possibility, but Instagram is run by Facebook and their policies, so it's not really going to be that different from what Facebook is doing. So I would say Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter are probably the big players here.
I mean, as always, I just wondered if there was maybe some kind of like dark horse platform.
TikTok.
Ew.
Sure.
Because, I mean, remember back in the day, at the very least, I have very cringy memories of Hillary Clinton on Vine.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people were on Vine, but they didn't pay for that.
True.
Like, they're going to be on, like, as many social networks as they can, but if we're talking about paid advertising, like YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook are the big players here.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see if like Dead Tree Media actually benefits from this in some way. That those dollars that are supposed to go to Twitter don't end up going to Twitter, so more newspaper or magazine ads end up getting purchased instead.
Yeah.
Don't we have our first YouTuber politician candidate? Isn't that happening right now? Joey Salads.
No. That guy drinks his own piss. I don't want to talk about this guy.
We just lost our universal clean rating that we always have on the podcast because of that.
I don't care,
He just
man.
said piss. Is that bad?
I don't even
not
want to
good.
mention his name, man. It's like the dude is a joke. Like
I'm not disagreeing. I was just saying that we've actually reached that point where we've jumped the shark and YouTubers are involved in politics now. I didn't say they're involved well. I was just bringing up a relevant segue. That's
If you're
all. Sorry,
like,
Alfred.
Like the dude is like a race baiter who like drinks his
I
own
know
piss.
he's an
Like, I'm
idiot.
good. Like,
I'm so glad I don't know who the hell this is.
I mean, that sounds to me like he's perfectly cut out to be involved in today's political landscape.
Oh.
I meant that as a broad stroke.
Okay, fine.
All right, I'm sorry. I've upset Alfred, but it's probably time to go anyways. But before we go, I wanted to showcase, we're trying to get a little more involved in our social networks on this side. Not politically, of course, but we like polls. So yeah, let's take a look real quick. Yesterday we were talking about HBO Max with Joan and Roger, and we took a poll out to see what anybody was excited about coming in the HBO Max lineup. House of the Dragon way ahead, obviously, with 56%. Next in line, a pleasant surprise to me, was Dune the Sisterhood, 23%. Benny Gesserit's Live Forever. Then we had Berlanti's DC Comics verse, and Grease Rydell High, which I didn't even realize was happening until we looked at things yesterday. Before we shut things down here, are you guys, just because we like talking about TV, any of the lineup in HBO Max you guys give a crap about?
Yeah, I voted on House of the Dragon, so I would definitely want to watch that. And then otherwise, people are just won't stop talking about the morning show for some reason, which I know is on Apple TV Plus.
because of how bad it is.
Is that it?
I've heard that it's garbage.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I don't plan on buying any of these services. If any of them end up being good, I will just pirate it. So
Nice.
stealing is cool.
I'm pretty sure there's like a company policy against you saying that on the air, but we'll just have to
No.
find out when HR
Are you
calls
sure
us.
about that?
I think there might be.
Do crimes.
Okay. I'm excited about Green Lantern and Dune, but we already established that on yesterday's episode. I don't know. If anybody's out there, keep an eye on us on Twitter. We're trying to mess around with a few new things, get a few ideas from you guys on how to keep performing the show, finessing the show, polishing things up. But yeah, anyways, finally back at it after a rough couple of weeks. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. And Alfred, go ahead and take us out.
All right. Please subscribe and click on the notification button, which I think looks like a bell, so you can join us here live on weekday mornings. If you don't mind, we have links in the bottom, and we have audio podcasts that you can subscribe to because we are thirsty and struggling. So for the Daily Charge, I'm Alfred Ng.
I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
Thank you for joining us.
Can't get enough? Check out the Daily Supercharge, our extended post show with special features, audience Q&A, and in-depth reviews. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.